Hi everyone. So last night the world lost a legend, and I don't normally use my channel to speak beyond gaming, facts, things like that. But I thought Ozzy Osbourne kind of deserved his own look back at his life, so I think that's what I'm going to do. And the many accolades that he put forth into the world. So, from very young, Ozzy was very musically minded. He was bullied for being dyslexic at school, and he had a very prominent Rummy accent, and that led him to actually quit school at the age of 14. And he said when he was 15, um, that's when he first heard the song She Loves Me from Beatles, and that kind of prompted him to want to become a musician. So we have that to thank for all the years of music. I think it's important as well to acknowledge, even though it's so out there and obvious, he did much more than music. He was a very kind, thoughtful human being. I mean, you can just look it up, and he's done so many things that would be seen as kind. He did have, quite a turbulent, not always positive past because of drugs and what came of that. But he was very lucky in the fact that he had a wife that loved him as much as she did, um, and took care of him even when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and she never left his side. And it 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 goes back to the 80s. He was in a movie. He was in a film called Trick or Treat, and he looked so completely different you wouldn't know it was him. I remember seeing it, and my dad said, "Do you know that's Ozzy Osbourne?" I was like, I couldn't believe it, because when I was younger, Ozzy was always the person who bit off a bat's head. That's what I knew him as. But as I got older and I started to listen to his music and I started to learn a bit more about him, I found, there was so much more depth. So he had his TV show, The Osbournes. He he was actually a part of WWE for a while, and he was in the Hall of Fame. And then he even had his very own star. I think that's Point Birmingham. And his final concert was his goodbye. And I think that's what he wanted it to be more than anything. I think his family had an idea that's why it was, but they also knew he was a strong person, and no matter what, he would always fight, for it not to be. And I think that's exactly what he did before he unfortunately passed. And he's left behind such a life story, to go from something as negative as it was when he was younger to go to such a positive person who made such an impact on TV, music, media, all sorts of things, and to be such a good person despite all that as well. And I think he was a very good husband, and his wife loved him very much, and it was obvious he loved her very much as well. And right to the end, he showed that. So, as I said, I usually use my channel for games, fact files, things like that. But after hearing what I did last night about Ozzy Osbourne passing and the outpouring of tributes and things like that, I think it was very important to say something because he deserves to have that, from his fans, because he was so good to them and he believed in each and every one of them. And I actually saw some footage from another channel where he was speaking to a child. I think it was backstage, and they were saying they didn't think they'd ever see him again, but they wanted to say thank you, and it's such a heartwarming moment. It just showed how much he meant to everyone, so I do believe he deserves that acknowledgement.